over matrices. Some of the basic skills that we have gone over. The first thing is the dimensions. The dimensions of a matrix are going to be the rows by the columns. The rows are going to be counted like this. They go from left to right. And the columns are the ones that go from top to bottom, right? So if you have a matrix that looks like this, it says 3, 2, minus 1, 0, 7, and 6. Well, when I look at this matrix, I see 2 rows. This would be row 1, row 2, and I see 3 columns. Column 1, column 2, column 3. So the dimension of this matrix would actually be 2 times 3. Alright, now let's talk about adding and or subtracting matrices. We're going to work with 3 different matrices. We're going to work with matrix A, which is 3, 7, 5, 2. We'll work with matrix B, which is 1, 7, 8, 9, 3, 5. And we'll also work with matrix C, which is 7, 3. And all of these matrices have different dimensions. And if you consider the dimensions, this one has 2 rows and 2 columns, so this dimension is a 2 by 2. This one has 3 rows and 2 columns, so it's a 3 by 2. And this one has 2 rows but only 1 column, so it would be a 2 by 1. And that would be the dimensions of those matrices. Now let's say that we wanted to add these matrices, and we're not going to be able to do that, so I'm going to add another matrix over here. So let's add matrix D, which would be 6, 4, 9, 1. The rule when you add, the dimensions for this one is a 2 by 2. The rule when you add 2 matrices is that the dimensions must be the same. The dimensions must be the same. So when you look at these 4 matrices, the only 2 that you can add are matrix A and matrix D, because they both have the same dimensions. You cannot add B and C, they're not the same. So you can't add or subtract those, but we can add or subtract matrix A and D. The resulting matrix is going to be the same size. It's going to be a 2 by 2, and all you have to do is consider the elements and just add the corresponding elements. This is a 3 and this one's a 6, so 3 plus 6 is 9. Matrix A has a 7. Matrix D has a 4. 7 plus 4 is 11. Matrix A has a 5 in this entry. In matrix D we have a 9, so 5 plus 9 is 14. Matrix A has a 2, and matrix D has a 1, and a 2 plus 1 is a 3. And that's all you do when you add a matrix. If you want to subtract the matrix, then you subtract the entries. And we've done this in class, so I'm going a little bit fast with this, and I'll make sure to do the steps more clearly for the new material. This is more kind of like a review. When you subtract the matrices, you got to look at the element in matrix A. So in this case, it would be a 3. And in matrix D, it would be a 6. So you have 3 minus 6. I'll go ahead and do the steps on this one. 3 minus 6. The next entry would be 7 minus 4. This one would be 5 minus 9. And it'll be 2 minus 1. And you can rewrite this matrix 3 minus 6 is minus 3. 5 minus 9 is minus 4. 7 minus 4 is 3. And 2 minus 1 is 1. Your resulting matrix would be this one. Alright, now we're going to work on scalar multiplication. And all scalar is just a number. And what you're going to do is you're going to multiply every single number times all of the entries in the matrix. All entries in the matrix will be multiplied by the scalar or by the number. So let's say that we have matrix A. We had said it was 3, 7, 5, 2. And we wanted to multiply matrix A by negative 2. We want to calculate negative 2A. Well, all you have to do is multiply every single entry by negative 2. What is 3 times negative 2? It's going to be negative 6. 7 times negative 2 is going to be negative 14. 5 times negative 2 would be negative 10. And 2 times negative 2 would be a negative 4. And that is how we do a scalar multiplication. Alright, now we're going to work on matrix multiplication. And this is the one where I'm going to go nice and slow to make sure that you understand how to do this. And remember, if at any point you're not following, what I want you to do is I want you to stop, rewind it, and listen to it again. Anything that you don't understand what I'm doing, you need to write it down and write down that question so that we can discuss it in class. When you multiply two matrices, okay, you have to remember that you can only multiply two matrices if the columns in matrix 1, or the first matrix, have to equal the rows in matrix 2. It's the only way. And we do this by checking the dimensions. And let me show this an example. Let's say that we're working with matrix A, and matrix A is 3, 7, 5, and 2. And we have matrix B, which is 7, 3. Well, now you check the dimensions. What's the dimension of matrix A? Matrix A has 2 rows and 2 columns, so it's a 2 by 2 matrix. Matrix B has 2 rows, but it only has 1 column, so it's a 2 by 1. Well, this right here is the number of columns. You have 2 columns in matrix A. And this right here, this number 2, is the number of rows in matrix B. And they're the same. So, yes, we can multiply. What will the resulting matrix be? What will the product matrix be? What size or dimension will the product matrix be? The product is the result of you multiplying these two matrices. Well, you can easily answer that question because all you have to do is pick out the numbers on the outside. The resulting matrix, the product matrix, is going to be a 2 by 1. So it's going to have 2 rows and it's going to have 1 column. Okay? So 8 times B, it's going to be a matrix that has 2 rows, but it only has 1 column. So we're looking for 2 numbers. When you need to get the first number, this one is in the first row in the first column. So we're going to use the first row and we're going to use the first column, and we're going to combine the numbers. It's going to be 3 times 7 plus, remember, this 3 and that 7 are the ones that I'm multiplying, plus, now we're going to do this 7 times that 3. And that's 21 plus 21, which is 42. That's what goes in here. How do we get this number? Well, this number right here is in the second row, first column. So we're going to use the second row, first column. So we get to use this column again, but now this second row right here. And so now we have to find this number. Now to find this number, we need to multiply these and add them. So you can take this 5 times 7 plus 2 times 3. 5 times 7 is 35 plus 6 makes it 41. There you go. And that's how you do a simple matrix multiplication. Alright, so from